Hello, fire signs. Okay, let's go ahead and see what is going to be in store for you this month. I have prayed over the cards, shuffled them, asked that you all receive at least one message. Hopefully you will receive more than that. For those of you that are interested in the cards, we're using a lot. I will post what they are in the, there's this little information box below, so you can read there to find out what the cards are. You should be able to tell. Google does have images of different decks of cards. If you guys are like, oh man, I'm not sure if she pulled that from this deck or the Nymph deck, you should be able to figure it all out though. I also have prayed over, prepared, and shuffled a number of decks for clarifiers. Okay. So if we need those along the way, we will pull those. Now when I do list the cards, please note I am going to list all the cards that I have, because for some signs I may pull clarifiers, for others I may not. And as you know, I don't ever remember your readings, so because most of it's just channeled, it comes in as we're doing the readings, so I don't remember what I say or what cards I use. So it will be useless to ask me, but I will list all of the cards that I have and that I've used throughout the evening, so that they're there for everybody. Now whether or not those clarifiers are used for yours, I don't know, but they'll be listed below. So far I haven't actually used any clarifiers, so who knows, we might continue this streak, which is good. Saves a little bit of time for everybody. Okay, I am going to, at the end of the reading, pull an answer card from Doreen Virtue's Angel Answer deck. We are going to work through these one sign at a time. So if there is a question that you have at the end that was not answered, you might be able to get something from that. Now let me make sure you can see these. Okay, good. Now we're going to work through one sign at a time. We're going to start out with Sagittarius at the top, Leo, and Aries at the bottom. Okay, let me see here. So what you have is the situation, the past, what is a challenge for you, what is unknown to you, and then the last two cards are the recommendations that the angels have for you at this time. And let me pull these over here real quick so I can see what they are. See what's going on for you, Saggies. Okay. Okay. Put this over in a minute when we're done with them. Okay. So, fix my mic. The Yorkie. Allie's eyeballing us. She might jump up here in a minute. Okay. So your situation, you have the 9 of Observation, which is the 9 of Swords in traditional tarot. And, you know, Holmes was known to stay ahead of all of his adversaries. He was always a couple steps ahead of them. He was very physically capable. He was a boxer. He was into martial arts. So he didn't have a lot to fear. But you see here, he's lying flat on the ground because there was an instance where he was almost beaten to death. Now what he did is he allowed the newspapers to spread the story that he was killed. He allowed it to be exaggerated, and he did that because, you know, sometimes he allowed people to think those because it would work in his favor, but he did that. And when Watson read about it, Watson was like shocked. Couldn't believe that that had happened, that he was near death. And actually in this instance, he let them believe that he was near death when he wasn't. It was actually this situation where he led people to believe he had died. But he led them to believe that he was near death. Like, oh my gosh, it's that bad. It's that bad. But it wasn't. It really wasn't that bad. This is all about, you know, nightmares, things that we fear, premonitions, nightmares related to those premonitions. Hold on a second, let's pick up this Yorkie so she'll be quiet, lay down and sleep. Okay. But it's all about, you know, despair and grief and worry. Really fretting about some fearful things. It's also about having a troubled conscience. Depression, pain, self-doubt, feeling vulnerable. A lot of guilt, a lot of despair. Also, you know, not having the ability to take responsibility for our own path. It's interesting. So with these cards, there's some different, you know, sayings and phrases that Holmes likes to use. And the phrase that's with this card is, it's interesting because it is, now is the dramatic moment of fate. So for some of you, you are in this situation. Most of you, it's actually tied to love. And you have a lot of guilt, particularly over things that were not said. You see here, he's got this letter that he had dropped. And he's flat on the ground. So for some of you, you think that things are over. You are having a lot of despair about that. You have a lot of guilt. A lot of you do have a lot of things on your conscience that you were like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Why did I never say? So for some of you, you never shared how you felt about this person. Like you didn't tell her your feelings, your emotions. You kept those things. And some of you also didn't share the truth of a situation. So for some of you, maybe you were going through a divorce. Or maybe some of you were married, or you were in some committed relationship, and you met this new person. Oh my gosh, they triggered all these feelings. You behaved in some ways that you are ashamed of. And for some of you, you're ashamed because you didn't share the truth as to why. So for some of you, they're saying that like you pushed that potential relationship, that new beginning away. You ended it. They're pointing out, so this card that we're going to go over in a minute, there's this door on here. They're saying some of you slammed the door on her face. You very abruptly ended that because there was something you did not want to communicate, something that you were ashamed about. And since then you have been guilt-ridden and you feel like, you know, you're just flat on the ground. You don't even have a chance to make this work. You feel as though you have hit rock bottom. But you never communicated how you felt. You've never communicated the truth of things. Now, the interesting thing, Sagittarius, you are the only sign so far that has repeater numbers. So you have 9, 9, and 9. Now, 3 9s in a reading means that a very important relationship lesson is being successfully integrated for you at this time. So there is something that you learned from an ex-lover. So for some of you, maybe it was this person that you were married to or in a commitment with, and you have finally learned that lesson. Which they are showing, because in these cards they've got 2 waterfalls, they've got these 2 instruments. So what they're telling me is, you had this person from the past. Your ex-lover, your ex-spouse, person that you were in a contract you were bound to. Some of you felt like you were stuck and chained to. They're your past. In your future, you have this other person. You have this treasure chest opened up and all this light's illuminating out. But it's two people. You're not with either, they're saying. And you got the same with the instrument. And we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But this card, this is talking about your past. And it's 9 at the bottom. It says fulfillment of wishes. This would be in traditional tarot, the 9 of cups. But this card's all about emotional satisfaction, contentment, enjoyment, really truly having our wishes come true, total fulfillment. It's also about healing past memories that have kept you hostage, that have held you stuck, held you back, kept you from having your dreams come true and your wishes fulfilled. It's also about forgiving yourself and forgiving others. And by doing that forgiveness, that you will be able to open up and clear the path for the blessings to come in, for your wishes to be fulfilled. So what they're saying is, for some of you in the past, some of you could be 6 months ago, they're saying for some of you up to 9 or even 12 months ago, you'd let an ex go. Things really boiled to the top and it was an ugly ending. Yeah, because they're saying for some of you it's almost a year ago. So you had these hopes of having this life with this person that you kept trying, you kept working toward it, but it just crumbled apart. And for many of you, it was the final straw. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, because you repeatedly tried to work with this person from your past. But actually, that person is what was keeping you from moving forward. So for some of you, you kept going back to that person because there was a lot of nostalgia. You kept remembering of how things used to be in the past. So you kept going back, kept trying to make it work. For some of you, it was well, this is what we've always done. We need to stick with this tradition. This is how we do this. But it finally came to a boiling point. Again, 12 months ago for some of you. And you just got the point that, okay, that's enough. I'm done. But they're congratulating you, because that was a karmic lesson. It was something that you were simply to learn. If you look here, this figure is like a graduate, standing there holding the diploma, wearing robes. I have graduated. I have passed that lesson. I have left that BS behind. I am now ready for my wishes to come true. I am now ready for the future. I am now ready for my treasure. I'm now ready to receive these blessings. But it all started with you finally letting that past go, because that's, okay. They're saying for most of you, this is a person, it is a love situation. That person that you were holding on to is the very piece that was blocking you from having your dreams coming true. But this healing that you have been doing with your heart, they're saying that you've done a lot of healing to prepare yourself. But for some of you, you're now ready to move forward to this future, this other person. They're saying for many of you, you know who this other person was or is. But you're not talking it. They're saying you would have to like extend an olive branch to resurrect that relationship, to begin anew. But that's why you're in this state of despair, because you're like, oh man, you've got a lot of doubts, a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot of guilt. And some of you are just not wanting to take responsibility, not wanting to take action, not wanting to take they're saying take action and make a decision. Because you're like, oh gosh. Because sometimes when we mess up, we mess up Texas big. That, hey, if you're going to do it, I'm always like, if you're going to mess up real big. If you're going to do anything, do it big. Go big or go home. But for some of you, you went big. But the interesting thing in life is the mistakes, the things that we do, they don't define us, nor do they defile us. All they simply do is develop us. I mean, we have to learn somehow. We all learn various ways. It takes different motivators, but that's how we learn. That's how we become better. That's how we develop. So maybe for some of you, so we're going to skip ahead those cards at the end of what they're saying to you. So some of you, there's this shadow, these things that you didn't share with this other person. So say some of you married in a commitment. They're saying some of you were stuck. You were almost like, some of you were almost like held hostage. But you were stuck in this situation. You did not share that with the other person. You're ashamed. You're embarrassed. You're fearful of sharing that. Same for some of you, it's also fear of sharing that shadow side. So for some of you, maybe you also had to overcome drinking addictions or porn addictions. Or maybe you were stuck in chains with that person for sexual reasons. Some it could be money, but they're saying this shadow side of yourself isn't anything to fear or fret over. Because for those of you that they're trying to lead you in this new direction, that person's going to love you unconditionally. Okay, we're going to go over that again in a moment. Now, as far as what is challenging you, you have the Nine of Wands. You see she's bent over, she's like staring in this water, and it's all because the challenge that's facing you, Saggies, is you're not taking the time to reflect upon your feelings, to listen to yourself, listen to your feelings, observe your emotions, and then heed the advice. You see, water is all about emotions, and she's intently staring down at that. What is challenging you is you're not looking at your emotions. You're not accepting your emotions. You're also not accepting the guidance, because there's a decision that you have to make that is they're saying it's a heart over mind decision. This decision is not going, they're saying that it defies logic. It doesn't make logical sense. But if you are to trust your heart and make the decision, it is the key that's going to transform your life. But you're not making that, and you're having a hard time because you're not listening to your heart. You're not listening to your emotions. Some of you don't trust your emotions because you've been hurt in the past. Now, as far as what is unknown to you, you have the Two of Winter. And at the bottom it says, indecision is holding you back. Surprise. Make the choice that's best for you rather than trying to please others. Feeling trapped between the intellectual and the emotional. You know how they were saying you have to make a heart over mind decision. You see, you have this young figure. He's stuck between these two instruments. He's got one here. So again, it's depicting the past, your ex-spouse, your ex-lover, and your future. You're with neither. He's got his hands to himself. Both instruments play music. So for some of you with the past, you know, you did make some music. It may have been beautiful in the beginning. It may have sounded like a painful symphony in the end, like someone just learning how to play an instrument. But you made music. But now you have the potential for this new instrument, which is magical. Look at all the lights and the fireflies and all the stuff around it. But this card is talking about now is the time to make a decision. It is time to take action. It's time to stop overanalyzing and make a choice. It's time to stop ignoring the problem in hopes that it's going to go away, because it's not going to go away. And some of you have been kind of hoping that, like, maybe it will go away. Maybe I won't have to make a choice. And in winter, that's the swords, and swords are all about mental anxiety, being stuck in our heads, and that's where you've been. You're just constantly stuck in your head. So for those of you that this is a love interest, you're like, okay, I don't know why I want her. See how he's like looking at it, longing? So for some of you, you have this person you've met, and you long for her. You think about her. She's on your mind all the time. That's funny. For some of you, she's your twin flame. What they were just telling me, see how he's got these flames on both sides of him? So for some of you, this love interest, she is your twin flame. She is your other half. Which is why it defies all logic. Because when you're dealing with twins, nothing makes any damn sense. It doesn't. But it's magical. Kind of like that's a part of the book that I read as the intro, about how this fated couple, they meet each other, they fall in love, they're like engaged or married or whatever it was in 3 months, 3 weeks, whatever it was. Because when it's meant to be, it's meant to be. You just know. It doesn't make logical sense. It really doesn't. It doesn't. But your heart knows. And that's why you can't stop thinking about her. That's why you long for her. Because your heart knows she's the most magical instrument. You'd be able to make beautiful, beautiful music together. But you're not reaching out. You're not reaching out for her. You're not reaching out for the relationship. You're not communicating. You're not opening up. You are not making a decision. And the fact that you are not making a decision is the very thing that has you stuck. But it is a heart over mind decision. because they're saying it doesn't make sense. For those of you that this is your twin, you know, okay. So they're saying for most of you, you are divine masculine. So you're this guy, you're this young boy, young gent trying to pick an instrument. You're very logical. This connection with this person makes no sense. You don't know, why do I think about her? Why does she pop up in my mind all the time? Why do I sometimes physically feel her? Why do I hear her thoughts? Why do I care about her? I don't even know this chick. But then the other side of you is like, why do we have so many similarities? It's almost like she's like me. Why do I feel like it's meant to be? Why do I feel this nonstop pull to her? Because it is meant to be. It is destined. It is fated. For some of you, you have some real hang-ups and fear of failure. They're saying you need to let that go because there is no, for those of you that this is a twin situation, there is nothing to fear. You're guaranteed success. All you have to do is make a decision, take some action. But what's unknown to you is you have to make a decision. You have to take action. That's the only reason you're stuck. You're keeping yourself stuck. Which is interesting because these are the two cards as far as, you know, what is recommended for you to do. The first card that you have is name your higher self. Now, when it comes to our higher self, you know, we're opening up spiritually. You know, our higher self, that's, you know, our soul, listening to our soul. So for you, your soul keeps calling you in this direction, in this new, to choose this path with this new woman, this new love interest, this divine love. But your logical mind is like, nope. And for some of you, your logical mind is like, nope. There are some things I've not shared with her. There are some things she doesn't know. So for some of you, you've got a dark, shadowy past. You're like, oh my gosh, well, if she finds this out about me, she's not going to have anything to do with me. If she finds out what was really going on with that ex, whew, she's going to slam the door in my face. For some of you, there's some ego stuff that gets in the way. So our higher self. Then we're going to go to the ego part. Our higher self is essentially, it's our soul. It's what is guiding us to what is best for us. So for you, what's best for you is this new beginning, this new path, trying to get you to make a decision. Our higher self, our soul, will try to guide us to doing things that are best for us, even if it makes no sense. Even if we're fearful, we are guided in that direction. Now, sometimes what happens is our ego gets in the way. So for some of you, you have some hang-ups about money. So for some of you, you feel as though, okay, my net worth is not yet where I desire it to be. I feel drawn to her. I would like to move forward with her. I know that she's my treasure chest. I know that I will have learned this lesson, cleared this karma, and I can finally move forward with her. I know that I would have total fulfillment because, again, this is all of your dreams and hopes and wishes coming true. I know I would have that with her. However, I don't know if I have enough money yet. I don't know if I have enough to have a stable foundation with someone. For some of you, it's because of how you were raised. For some of you, it's because of they're saying for some of you, it's the ex. So for some of you, the ex was all about money and finances. And maybe for some of you, the ex drained your finances. Maybe she took more than half when it was all split up and it was all done in the end. But that's just your ego talking to you. So our ego wants to scare us away from the things that we're destined from. It wants to make us think we're not good enough. We need more. We're not going to be accepted. But that's not true. So for some of you, you need to stop listening to your ego. You need to start listening to your higher self. You need to make a heart over mind decision. You've got the mind, the heart. Because up to this point, you keep making the logical decision, and it keeps tripping you all up, and that's why you're laying face down on a concrete, cold ground. You've been knocked out for the count. For some of you to have that new beginning, you do need to crack that door open. And it is going to come by you opening up, by you sharing the truth. So you've got the scroll here and also the scroll here. The truth will set you free is what they're saying. Now they want me to read this book. Let's see if I can. Okay. Name your higher self. You can creatively bypass your ego and conscious mind and tap directly into your higher self by giving it a personal name, such as Tom or Betty or Michael or simply HS. The name you choose isn't important. My higher self name is Sam. We talk regularly and I learn a lot. I know it sounds silly, but it works. Naming your higher self makes conversations with it much more intimate and opens the door to higher vibration and perspective in a fun way. You can ask for guidance in any situation as though asking a dear and trustworthy friend for advice. You can speak to your higher self out loud, I often do, or through writing. Once it has a voice, it will freely respond whenever called upon. Ask it by name what it feels is best for you right now, and then listen as it responds. The more specific your questions, the more specific the answers. Don't let your ego block this powerful technique for accessing higher vibration. Lighten up and give your higher self a chance to speak. You'll enjoy the new perspective. Okay, now, the other card that you have, as far as your recommendation, is all tied up. And this really, those of you in this situation, you do feel bound. See, she's tied from wrist all the way up to shoulders. But at any point, she can escape. She's not wrapped tightly in metal chains. That's just some grapevines. You have the strength to break free of grapevines. But some of you, so for some of you, maybe you're feeling stuck because there's a contract. Maybe you're waiting for divorce proceedings to be over. Maybe you're waiting for some legal, contractual breakup, splitting up assets. But you're waiting on that. You're waiting for that agreement. You're waiting for things to be finalized. Well, just because you're waiting for things to be finalized with an ex doesn't mean that you can't move forward, especially it's been 9, 12 months in the making. You've had the time to heal your heart. You're ready to move forward. For some of you, it's opening up and sharing the truth, sharing that information. For some of you, it's also like taking action, following up with your attorneys, following up with, okay, where's the documents? Where's the paperwork? What's the status? Now, for others of you, this is saying that it's time for you to be your own jailer, you to free yourself. Because, again, she's not bound by metal chains. She's not locked up in a basement. She's loosely tied with grapevines. And if you look, her hands are even free. Her wrists are free. She's not bound until right up around her elbows. So she could just raise her digits and fingers, start to loosen it up and set herself free. And that's where you're at. You're at the point that you need to set yourself free. Some of you are so worried and so fearful that you're allowing yourselves to be trapped. And some of you are allowing yourselves to be trapped because there are some negative habits and past behaviors that you refuse to deal with, that you refuse to release. But again, it's just you. You allowing yourself to feel stuck, allowing yourself to feel oppressed. At any point, you can break free if you want to. But that's a choice that you have to make. Because again, it's your choices. And the fact that you're not making choices is why you're stuck. So go ahead, Sagittarius, think of a question. We're going to pull you one angel answer card. There's something that you are still you have to share your emotions too. Let me start pointing out this letter. For some of you, this love interest, that's this beautiful magical instrument, you need to share your emotions with her as well. That's this challenge thing that's blocking you. Okay, so go ahead and think of your question. We're going to pull one of these real quick. Okay. interesting. If you look at pictures of twin flames online, you will find that it always depicts the energy of the masculine and feminine interweaving together. Kind of looks like a DNA strand. And you have romance. And isn't this interesting that it's like the DNA strand right there for twins? Okay. So, romance, a very important relationship, is about to enter or has recently entered your life. This is the romance you've been waiting for. Like all partnerships, there may be ups and downs, but don't let that deter you or shake your confidence. Have faith that love is coming into your life to stay. If your question was about a current relationship, you can expect the parties to become closer to one another. Past disagreements will fade away and trust will grow. All relationships have peaks and valleys. This card indicates an upward movement to a new level of dedication and intimacy. This can include engagement, marriage, or a form of recommitment to one another. Okay, so hopefully that helps, Saggies. Okay, so moving on to Leos. Let's see what you have over here. Okay. Well, you are going through some changes right now. And there's some sudden, swift changes regarding money. What you have as your situation is you have the Reichenbach Falls. In traditional tarot, this would be the Tower. And this shows that Sherlock Holmes, he was doing this battle over this cliff with his arch enemy, and they both fell over the side. Now, he did not die because he actually ended up falling onto this like ledge and held onto this ledge. Now, he led people to believe that he died because he knew that some of his, you know, some of the criminals, that they would hear of his death and they would start to come out from hiding. So he actually allowed people to think that he was dead for like 3 years just to pull them out. And it did. It worked. It was successful. But this is about sudden, unpredicted change, something that is very rapid. It can also be, you know, falling into the depths, reversal of energies, transformation of hopes and plans. Whatever you've been waiting on and working toward to shore up things, fix things, falling away. And falling away no matter how much you try to stop it. So maybe, you know, you've been working really hard because you're like, okay, well, I'm gonna invest in this business, and oh boy, you know, sometimes people they'll jump into like these get rich quick schemes, and they're like, oh, if like the pyramid stuff, oh, if I get 6 people that are under me, I'm gonna be making this much, and it's going well, it's going positive, and then suddenly, you know, the rug's pulled out from underneath them. But they've invested thousands of dollars to get this up and going. Not saying that's the case, but for some of you, it's almost like you have been counting on a financial reward. And there's going to be a rapid shift in that. It's going to come in quickly. And it's something that's faded, but it's faded. At the time, it's not going to seem good. But it's actually intended to help transform things for the better. So for some of you, you're going to be going separate ways from a business partner. But maybe what you're not aware of is that person's really crooked and shady. And before you invest too much more with them, it's best to get out, because you could lose everything. Now, what has led to this situation? You have sacrifice. Traditional tarot, this would be the Hanged Man. This is all about, you know, achievements and success after we've sacrificed a lot. It's really about self-sacrifice. It's also about taking the time to look at things, look at what is it that you need to surrender, let go of, and release, and doing that in order to have transformation, enlightenment, turn things around, shift things. It's also about things that we cannot control. But by accepting it, letting it go, healing things, we can move on, we can move forward, we can have a new beginning, new opportunities. But it takes a sacrifice to get that. Now, if you look, she's in these. I mean, that's not beautiful Hawaiian waters. That's not aloha happiness. That's just murky and brown. It looks like poo water. So for many of you, you've had to sacrifice a lot for this transformation and for this change. For many of you, you have invested heavily into a business, into a new project. Some of it could be that you invested into this career. Because for many of you, it's almost like a financial opportunity, something that you did invest in. You see that you've got this rainbow and it's coming. And normally you'll have a rainbow and it'll pop out on a pot of gold. So you were investing thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to reap so many rewards for me. I am going to get this heaping pot of gold. But instead you got to swim in some poo water. But we all get to swim in poo water sometimes. That's how we grow. It's how we grow. But then that's how we can appreciate those beautiful crystal clear blue waters in Hawaii. Sometimes we just have to go through some stuff to get there. And we all do. Every single one of us. I had a romantic business partner years ago that took me for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I was swimming in some poo water. But I'm a Scorpio. And what are Scorpios good at? They're very good at death and rebirth. They can take it and then they can jump up afterwards and say, that was a weak hit. And they can be stronger, better off financially than they ever were before. So, don't ever feel as though you've been beaten down by an opportunity to grow. It's funny, I mentioned it in Sagittarius that when we're going through something like that, like if we make mistakes, like, okay, maybe you did invest in a business. Maybe it was a, get rich quick scheme. Maybe you invested 20 grand in it. And now you're like, oh crap. What did I do that for? That was a real big screw up, but it's not. And sometimes if we do things like that, we're embarrassed. We don't want people know, but it's not something to be embarrassed about because the mistakes we made, we all make mistakes. That's how we grow. That's how we develop. And the mistakes that we make, they don't defile us. They don't define us. All they do is develop us. They just make us better. They make us wiser. They also help us share our experiences with others so we can keep them from making the same mistakes, so we can also inspire them when they're swimming through the same poo water that we've swum through before. To let them know it's okay. You're going to come out on the other end. You're going to be able to shower, and you're going to be able to jump into some beautiful crystal clear blue waters. But you invested heavily. Some of you were deceived. Some of you, it was a crooked business partner. Could have been a lover that was trying to pull you in. And things are just not going as planned, not going as anticipated. And what is challenging you, you have the Knight of Wands. So you're now at this state of fear. Because you're losing money. You're afraid you're going to lose it all. You're kind of freaking out. You know when you startle a horse, the horse will rear back in fear. And you see that horse is terrified. It's about to buck him. It's about to knock him down and possibly trample over him. So when we have something that just knocks us off, knocks us back, knocks us off kilter, it can throw us into action. It can start causing our thoughts to spin, go into overtime. But when our thoughts are spinning and we're freaking out, we're in a panic mode, what happens is it makes it very difficult for us to make decisions. It makes it very difficult for us to get the clarity that we need for decisions. It makes it difficult for us to take action. It also makes it very difficult for us to understand what in the world is going on. What is it that I need to do? How do I make this stop? And how do I get off this? I want off this horse. I want off this ride. And that is what's challenging you right now, because this so for some of you, this is going to be coming in this month. This quick, rapid loss. Could be a breakup, business breakup, rapid loss of money. But you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. The challenge is going to be for you to remain calm as you're going through it, and to know that you are not alone. You do have help. Because what is unknown to you, you have the 5 of Autumn. And at the bottom it says, reach out to others for assistance, support timing for a career change, feeling challenged by money issues. And this is reminding you that there is always help. You always have help. You are never alone. And just when you think you have no help, and just when you think you have hit rock bottom, and you think, oh my gosh, I have just taken a total nosedive down this cliff. I've lost all this money. I don't know how I'm going to meet my bills. I don't know how I'm going to feed myself and my family. What in the hell have I done? How do I fix this? There's no one there for me. I'm stuck in a state of despair. That's when suddenly you're going to have help come in. It's the moment that we need it most that help comes in, comes rushing in. So know that you do have help on the way. It is money issues for most of you, is what they're saying. And for some of you, maybe it doesn't have to be so drastic as you have a business falling apart, you've lost thousands of dollars in a business deal. Maybe for some of you, you unexpectedly get some tax bill. Or you suddenly get some, $2,000 or some bill that granted it's not going to break the bank, but it's not money that you have on hand right now. And it's unexpected. And you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with this? It's okay. It's going to be okay. They want you to know you are going to have help. You are going to have assistance. You're not alone. They're also warning to beware of self-fulfilling prophecies. So if we start to fret really bad about money, oh my gosh, I don't have money, I don't have this, I don't have that. What happens is we create more lack. So stay in a state of gratitude for what you do have. Stay in a state of trust and faith that you're going to have more, and be praying and asking that they come to your rescue, because they're going to. Now, for some of you, because this is going to come in so quick and it's going to throw you off kilter, you're gonna be like this knight that's on this horse that's freaked out. You need to be freaked out. What do I do? They need you to remain calm. Take your time, trying to decide what your next step's going to be. You don't need to rush into things. And again, like we were saying earlier, if our head and our thoughts start spinning out of control, it just makes it really difficult for us to make a decision. It makes it really difficult for us to think outside of the box and come up with a resolution. So maybe for some of you, if you're able to calm your thoughts, you might realize, oh, well, actually, I'm paying for a lot of things that I don't really need. So I could cut the cable bill from $150 a month and just maybe have wireless internet for a few months, and it's only $50. And I don't need to go out to dinner 7 nights a week. Instead, I'm going to start cooking. I'm only going to go out to dinner as a treat once a week. Wow, I've just saved $300 in that. But if you're thinking calmly and rationally, you can come up with those solutions, and you will. But you have to stay calm to do that, because there are lots of ways for you to fix this, to resolve this, to get this. Some of you, it is going to be a bill that's coming, and get that taken care of. For some of you, also regain any money that you lose. You do have a lot of opportunities. But in order to seize those opportunities, in order to see those opportunities, you're going to need to remain calm. You're going to need to take your time to make a decision. You're going to need to breathe. You're going to need to know it's okay. It's okay. They're going to help you. And allow them to help you. And they will. Okay. So go on ahead, Leo. Think of a question real quick, if there's something that wasn't answered. Or maybe you just have a question. Maybe you're like, let's see what Nicole can come up with at 11:30 at night when she's sleeping. Because it could get good. It could get real good. I don't know, maybe those of you that get the late night readings get the best, most interesting readings. So, okay, got your question? Your answer is peaceful resolution. Now I'm going to get the book, and we're going to read that. And then we're moving on to you, Aries. It's almost your turn. Okay. Peaceful resolution. The challenges you're inquiring about are going to come to an end. Conflict will cease and soon be replaced with harmony. There will be a sense of peace shared by all, even if some only agree to disagree. Disagreements will be resolved in your favor. This includes struggles with employers, legal battles, arbitration, and even strife among family or friends. Be forgiving and understanding with those who may have been in error. Allow peace to come with grace and dignity for everyone. So hopefully that helps, Leo. And now, let's move on to Aries. Now, let's see here. You do not have any repeaters. Let's see what's going on down here. In case you've not picked up my rhythm, I can't see the two cards on the bottom of what's underneath there, so I bring these over so I can see them, and I'll pull them back into your view when we get to them. But it helps me understand what's going on with you overall at this point. And because, again, we do have your situation. We do have what's happened in the recent past. It could be in the last 6 months or so. It doesn't have to be last 2 weeks, about the last 6 months for most. Same for you, could be 6, 9 months, up to possibly a year. It's just similar to Saggies. You have what's challenging you, what's unknown to you, and then these other two cards are what's being recommended that you do at this time. Now, the first card that you have is the Ace of Swords in this deck. It would be the Ace of Observation. And you know, Sherlock Holmes, he loved it when he would get these new cases. He would be so excited and enthusiastic, and he would just jump into it and give it his all, and he would, you know, discover every hidden clue. He would look at all the facts, the unexplained facts. I mean, he would just dig until he was able to decode everything, decipher everything, reassemble it, close the case, and then he was ready for the next one. But aces are new beginnings. But this is reminding you that you do have the clarity, the power in order to solve the case, crack the case. This is also about truth and ethics, focusing on truth and ethics. It talks about you using your intelligence, your ability to analyze things and look at things to reveal everything, to be able to see the truth of everything, be able to see through any illusions, to unravel any mysteries, to discover anything that is hidden. It's about conquest, strength and power. It's really about truth and justice, balancing the scales, light in dark places, hidden places, illuminating essentially the truth. Now, you probably weren't listening to the other signs, but there was this instance with Sherlock Holmes where he and his #1 enemy were doing battle on this bridge, and they fell over it, and his enemy ended up dying, and he led everyone to think that he died when he didn't. He actually was just hanging on to this cliff, but he let everyone purposefully think that he was dead because he wanted it to bring out a bunch of criminals that were in hiding. So it wasn't him just allowing the general public to think that he was dead. He also let everyone that were nearest and dearest to him think that he was dead. So when he was reunited with Watson, it was very poignant. It was very filled with emotion. But this is all about deep love, emotional satisfaction, a reunion, emotional fulfillment, our wishes coming true, well-being, comfort. Also can be confidence in your partner, confidence in your friend, satisfaction, having your heart's desires and wishes fulfilled, emotional contentment, but comfort. I mean, this is the 9 of Cups. It's comfort. They had been best friends and partners for years, and they were reunited. Okay. So, Aries, some of you have separated from your partner. You could have been married, you could have been committed partners, but you have separated. You are the Queen of Autumn. Now, you don't necessarily have to be an earth sign. You don't even necessarily have to be a woman. Many of you are, though. But if this sounds like it's your story, it is. The reason you broke up and went separate ways is because there was a third party. There was some cheating. You've got the 3, you've got the 3. This is the past, what led to this. So This is rejoice and celebration. You see they're toasting with these 3 cups. Now, typically this could be a beautiful card. You know, it is. It's celebration. It's excitement. You got 3. It talks about unity, rejoicing, happiness, satisfaction, celebrating your hard work. Because, you know, everybody wants to celebrate with a little bubbly. But they're saying in the past you found out there was a third party in your partnership, in your romantic relationship. And so you went separate ways from your partner. And now you have this opportunity to reunite. You still love them and care for them. And they still love and care for you. Maybe they had a night where they were drinking and highly intoxicated. Not that that forgives it as though it never happened. But maybe for some of you, they're saying, okay, so they're saying for some of you, it truly was a one-night stand, too much alcohol, they really screwed up. And they want to get back together. But you're thinking about it. You're contemplating. This card is about, you know, this is a time to observe things and not talk. To just sit back and look. And if you look, she's just sitting back and she's watching the 2 of them. You do have an opportunity to come back together. There is very deep, true feelings. There is deep love between the 2 of you. You do have this opportunity to reunite, to rebuild, which will bring you emotional satisfaction. You will be able to recover. But for some of you, you're having a difficult time having a new beginning. You see here, it's almost like he's got him strangled in a hold. He's got this piece of paper in his face. And, you know, he's just laying here sleeping. So for some of you, because that trust was broken, some of you are having a hard time having a new beginning because you are suspicious of everything. You're like, what is this? Why does this smell like perfume? What is this note? What is this text message? In order for you to have a new beginning together, I've got a tickle in my throat. You do need to communicate, some of you. Drink of water. Okay. Some of you are going to need to clear the air. You're going to need to communicate. Some of you, there were some things going on with that third party that you are not aware of. And when you do discover those things, it will help you. It will give you a little more peace of mind. So maybe for some of you, maybe it was. They were, again, not that that forgives it. When you are in a committed relationship, no matter how drunk and intoxicated you are, even if you're out of your mind on drugs, you still should keep it in your pants. Just because you're having a fun time partying doesn't mean you just share the loving for everybody. That destroys marriages and relationships. But for some of you, maybe you thought that this was a deep emotional relationship and it had been going on for a long time, and you may find out that it wasn't. It really, truly wasn't. But the communication needs to be opened. It is a time for you to sit back and observe what they do, observe how they act. That will give you some reassurance. Now, as far as what is blocking you, you do have a major arcana. You do have a strength card. Because for some of you, you're just like, I don't know if I have the strength to do this. This is all about being able to subdue beasts with gentle strength, perseverance. You see, she's sitting here next to this tiger, and it's like mouth's open, it's ready to eat. And she's just sitting there. She's leaning in. She's not afraid of it. She's taming it with love and gentleness. So for some of you, you're like, I don't know if I can tame this beast. Is he going to continue to behave in such a fashion? This is also about the truth saving us, the truth protecting us. It's also about having a pure heart. So some of you, you are challenged because you are fearful of moving forward because you don't know what your ex's true intentions are. Although it sounds good like they want to come back together, you're having a hard time forgiving them. You don't know if you can forgive them. You don't know if you can forgive them because you don't know, maybe they're lying to me. Maybe there still is someone else. Ooh, I don't know. And that's why watch. See what he does. They're saying those of you in this situation, his intentions are true. Now, as far as what is unknown to you, you have the Queen of Autumn. And at the top it says generous, stylish, gracious, practical. At the bottom it says be practical with respect to how you proceed. The ability to make anything more beautiful, meeting someone who can help your dreams come true. And you sit here, see her, she's just sitting there. She's so luxurious. She's got this comfy blanket. She's got fruit. She's got a bunny. She's draped in finery. But the Queen of Autumn, she's like the fairy godmother. She loves swooping in, having everyone's dreams come true. She's got her little magical wand there. She likes to make people happy. She likes to save the day. She likes to bring them joy. She's very generous and giving and charismatic. She's also very practical and grounded. She's all about form and function. Doesn't have a function, doesn't need to be there. Now, she does have very expensive tastes, and she's extremely picky. And she does like very nice things. But she has the ability to make anything and everything beautiful. She has the ability to turn it around. That is what is unknown to you, ladies. For those of you that are in a similar situation that are guys, if the shoe fits, it sounds like your story, it is. But you do have the ability to turn this situation around. You do have the potential to come back together, you reunite, and have it be stronger than ever before. You really do. But there are some things that you do need to do. You have accept the gifts of the universe. And you see there's this cornucopia. You've got this pot of gold with the rainbow. So many of you have invested heavily in this relationship. And you fear that all was lost and it's over, but it's not. They are trying to restore what you have invested in. They are trying to repair it because it is, again, repairable. But it does, you do have to accept it because for many of you, he's trying to get back with you. He's trying to prove himself. He's trying to regain your trust and loyalty. He's trying to regain your forgiveness. And for many of you, you're just like, I can't, no. I can't even. I can't believe you did that. I can't believe you think you're going to come back in here. But they're trying to give you this gift of this new beginning. But you have to be open to receiving it. If you want it, you have to be open to receiving it. And also they're saying that if you do decide to give it a try and give it a go, you can't be constantly reading every email of theirs and checking their phone. This poor guy's done nothing. He doesn't have anyone in bed with him. He's in bed by himself. But if you're going to flip out at every opportunity as, what the hell is this? What's this text? Are you lying to me? Are you cheating? You can't build something new on that. So it does truly, like if you truly do want this and you really can have this, emotional fulfillment, your dreams coming true, your heart's desires fulfilled, you can rebuild it. You can have a new beginning with him. But to have that new beginning, it does take forgiveness. It does take letting the past go. So if you choose that, yes, I do want this gift. Yes, I do want to try to make this work. Yes, I know I can turn this around. There's forgiveness involved. There's letting things go involved. Because if the shoe were on the other foot and say, you know, you went, maybe one night you had behaved in a way that you shouldn't have. And so for some of you, maybe he didn't have full-on sex. Maybe he just had a hot makeout session. Maybe that's what you don't know. So maybe if the shoe was on the other foot, maybe if you went out and you got drunk one night, maybe you were doing some drugs, maybe some ecstasy, whatever you were doing out one evening, and you had a big makeout session. And then you're like, oh God, I screwed up so bad. I love him so much. I want him back so bad. Why doesn't he trust me? Why doesn't he know that I love him? I'm so sorry I screwed up, and I'm never again going to do that. I'm never going to touch that drug again. I'm never going to mix that alcohol with that again. I am not going to do it because he matters that much to me. He's my everything, and I'm not going to risk that ever again. But what if he was angry with you and he didn't trust you and he was questioning everything that you did and he was throwing in your face the past and how you hurt him and he just wouldn't let it go? You would not be able to build something new with him. You would come to the point of having a lot of anger and despising. There would be a lot of arguments. But if he's like, okay, baby, we'll give it another shot. I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to forget. I'm going to let it go. Now I need you just to give me a little bit of time. I'm going to be standing back here watching just to make sure your actions are in alignment with your words. It's going to take me a little bit of time to be completely on board, but I am not going to be jumping down your throat. I'm going to be observing. I'm just going to be watching. Just know I need a little bit of time to be totally all in, because I just need to make sure you're all in. So if you can just be patient with me. I won't be angry and stuff. I'm just going to be a little more observant. And you're like, okay, I can do that. And then after time, you're both fully on board and everything's great. You do have the opportunity to do that. And then you have this rest and rejuvenate. They're saying, listen to the information that you're getting internally. Do some meditation. Some of you can go outside. You can ask for some signs. Because they're saying, like, you want to move forward. You want to forgive and forget. You do love him very much. But you're so afraid, like, okay, what if I make the wrong choice? What if his intentions aren't pure? What if he's still slumming around and playing the field? Trust your inner knowing. Do some meditation. Ask for some signs. Pray. Ask that they give you some signs, and they will. Okay. So go ahead and think of a question, Aries, if there's anything you still have questions about. Or you just want to ask a question. Let's see what you've got. And I think this is going to be a wrap for the night. You are my last one for the evening. You have forgiveness. Okay. Forgiveness. Forgiveness can work miracles. When you release the past, a weight is lifted from your shoulders, and a sense of freedom washes over you. Ask your angels to help you let go of sadness or pain caused by others so that you can be free. This card can also refer to the need for self-forgiveness. It's time to let go of any guilt you are holding on to regarding past mistakes you may have made. Give yourself credit for having tried your best, even if the results weren't. Even if the results weren't what you would have liked. Focus on the changes you've made since then that have made you a better person. So hopefully that helps you, Aries. Hopefully that helps all of you if you hung in till the end. I do wish you all an amazing month filled with a lot of love, joy, and blessings. And I will talk with you all after Thanksgiving. Have a safe Thanksgiving. Enjoy the time with your family. For those of you celebrating.